don't think a lot of people know. Where did you grow up? Where were you born? Where did you grow up? And how did you get into this industry?
Well, I grew up on a farm in Bertrand, Nebraska, and my dad was a tenant farmer there. You know, in those days, I was born in '33, so the times were tough, and they were poor like all the other farmers were poor. But I didn't know we were poor, but we were. And I went to high school at Bertrand, and graduated from there. Went to university, didn't know what I wanted to do. Was going to get drafted into the Korean War. So I come back, and I was killing some time as I was working for a local implement dealer and just messing around waiting to be drafted. And the local banker, his son was a friend of mine, he kind of said, "Why don't you come and help me out? I need some help." And I said, "Well, I'm going to get drafted." And he said, "That's fine. He helped me for 6 months." So I did, and I got drafted, and then I didn't pass the physical. So I went back to the bank because I didn't pass the physical. I had an ear problem, nothing serious, but they wouldn't take me into the draft. And so I went to work for him, and I really liked it. I didn't think, I was always an outdoor person. I didn't think I'd like working in an office, but I found it very interesting. I liked math, I liked numbers, and it was a fun thing. So I worked there, and then I met Virginia, and we got married, and I always kiddingly tell her we got married so I could get a bathroom in the house, because living out on the farm, we didn't have one.
No.
We didn't have electricity until I was a senior in high school. So it was, really a different lifestyle for me. So I really enjoyed the banking, and I was at the bank and trained for 11 and a half years.
How long?
11 and a half years.
Okay.
And I knew if I was going to grow in banking, it was a little town of 600, a very small $1 million bank, but it was good education for me. So I went out to a bank in Kimball, Nebraska, and it just wasn't a fit. And I was only there 15 months. This job opened up in New York, and I'd never been in New York in my life till I come down here for an interview. So I was only in Kimball 15 months, then I come to York, and November 8th is my 60th anniversary of being here. But I was cashier of the bank here in New York. That's what I got hired for. This bank was $14 million in assets when I came to work here. And those numbers probably don't mean anything to you, but we're about a $3 billion bank now. So during these 60 years, we've been fortunate to grow a long ways. So I come here as cashier. In those days, cashier was in charge of operations, in tellers, bookkeepers. This was in the old hand bookkeeping. And I was also a loan officer, done a few loans, ag loans. And Mr. Levitt, who owned the bank, Lige Levitt, he wanted me to convert the bank to computers because their bookkeeping equipment was old and it just needed to be replaced. And he was forward thinking enough that he knew computers were the future. Well, National Bank of Commerce in Lincoln had a program where they would do our bookkeeping accounting for us on their computer. So my job was to convert us over to their computer system. Well, I didn't know what I was doing because I didn't know anything about computers, but I learned, and then I'd come back and tell our employees, our bookkeepers in particular, what was going to happen. And of course, there was a lot of pushback, a lot of resistance. And I remember we had an older gentleman that was a kind of an assistant cashier, helped with the tellers. I caught him one day adding up the computers reported or overdrafts. And I said, "Well, Eric, the computer does that for you." And he looked me right in the eye and said, "How do you know it's right?" So that was the resistance you got. I couldn't answer that question. But it was a good education for me. It was a good way to get started here in the bank. And then ultimately, Mr. Levitt made possible for three of us to buy the bank. And then he made one of the partners, it wasn't working out as well as it should. We bought him out. So then I ended up as a partner with Bob Jones for probably 20, 25 years. I don't remember how long. And Bob was a little older than I was, so he came to me and he said, "You want to buy out my half interest in the bank?" So I did, and I was able to find a generous banker that would loan me the money to do that. we ended up, I owned 100% of the bank, and then we started expanding. We bought Mr. Levitt owned the banks at Bradshaw, Waco, and McCool Junction. So we bought those three first from him. And then we had a chance to buy the Albion National Bank. And that was about 37, 38 years ago. And that kind of started our business plan of expanding into these small communities that we're in now. Now we have 48 bank locations. And at the time, it didn't seem like the popular thing to do. But after a while, the people that owned these small country banks found out that they didn't have family to run them. They couldn't offer all the service. The regulatory requirements were too great to run as a family bank. And they'd come to us and say, do you want to buy our bank? Well, we would try to go in there and buy their bank and run it just like they did as a small community bank, but yet offer all the services that we could offer in York. And we were lucky. It turned out to be the right business plan, and we had the right staff to do it. So we've been very fortunate. And that's how we've got to be the size we are now, with 540 employees. So it's been a wonderful ride for me. And I'm fortunate enough now they still let me come in. I'm sure I'm a pain to them. But it gets me up in the morning, and I sit in a lot of meetings. But other than that, I'm just lucky to be able to be here.
Do you look back on all these years and marvel at the fact that so many decades have gone by? And I mean, what does that feel like?
Well, it's unbelievable. You know, starting out in a very small bank with 5 or 6 employees and ending up doing this I would have never dreamt it could happen. I've been so lucky, both business-wise, health-wise, my opportunities in other areas. I'm the luckiest person.
So you still come in every single day?
I'm here at 7 every morning.
You are?
Yeah.
Oh,
I've always been an early person, so I come in early.
Are you going to continue that as long as you can?
Yes. Keep my brain working, keep me going, and it'd be real easy to get lazy.
Mm-hmm.
And so, no, but I enjoy every minute of it.